Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. And thank all of you, because I have been at, like all of you, time after time, and have heard your words and the way you have spoken up and the way you're doing more than speaking up. You're doing what you can. And Mr. Rendell, you kind of caught me by surprise, and I'm always learning new things. But I have the privilege of speaking to you, and you are my brothers and sisters, every single one of you. We are all brothers and sisters under God. We are all called to make a difference in the world. And when people say, what is the meaning of life? It is to make a difference in the world, to make the world a better place than when you came into it. There's an old saying that being a person who goes to church every Sunday doesn't make you a Christian any more than having a car in your garage makes you a mechanic. And the founder of United Methodism, which I am a clergy member of, John Wesley, back in the 1700s, said personal holiness is well and good, and when you need to pray and read the scripture and all those things, but it is nothing without social holiness. If we are not out in the world doing things and standing up even at risk to ourselves and lots of criticism and even danger, then you can't call yourself a Christian. So today, I present to you a written Christian call to action, and I'm so glad to have my brother clergy up here, and I thank you for being here. Let me read it to you. In the February 10th, 2014 speech by Madame Maryam Rajavi, President-elect of the Iranian resistance, delivered to delegates from more than 300 Iranian associations throughout the world, gathered in France, she said, despite facing the most brutal forms of repression, which have been largely unprecedented in the contemporary world, the Iranian people have never surrendered to the clerical regime. 3 decades of perseverance by the MEK, she continued to say, and the Iranian resistance against the ruling dictatorship is the condensed version and essence of the Iranian people's refusal to surrender. We, the Christian clergy that will be signing this, and I'm going to make sure it gets spread to as many clergy throughout the country that I can possibly do, by our presence here today, by the signatures that we're going to gather, we stand in solidarity with our Iranian brothers and sisters. We support the 10-point plan of Madame Rajavi and the National Council of Resistance of Iran and encourage them not to surrender. It is out of our concern for social justice, human rights, and peace for all the world, that we call for attention and action through education, letters, emails, phone calls, and all possible forms of communication, advocating for human rights and democracy in Iran and support for the People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran, 2,900 members of which are currently being held in the prison camp, the concentration camp, that ironically and shamefully is called Camp Liberty. We call for the following. Number 1, addressing human rights violation in Iran must be part of the so-called nuclear negotiations with the Iranian regime. Protection, number 2, protection in Camp Liberty, 1,000 are women. Condemnation, number 3, condemnation of the September 1st, 2013 attack on Camp Ashraf and the execution-style massacre of 52 persons, including 6 women, and the recent secret burials of their bodies. There was also the taking that day of 7 hostages, 6 of whom are women. We do not know for sure where they are. We strongly condemn the secret burial of the 52 Ashraf martyrs by the Iraqi government, whereby all moral and religious consideration for deceased have ruthlessly been ignored, leaving family of the fallen in much anguish. In support of House Resolution 3707, which calls for the U.S. taking the lead in allowing people of Ashraf to have their final settlement in the country of their choice, including the U.S., as was originally promised to them by our government. Number 6, condemn the shutting down of Christian churches in Iran and the imprisonment of Christian clergy. We urge the U.S. government to insist upon the release of Pastor Saeed Abedini and other like-minded dissidents imprisoned by the Iranian regime. And last, but not at all least, to appreciate and thank the efforts of current and previous United States officials in all kinds of capacities who have been in support of democratic change in Iran and the protection of the people in Camp Liberty. We are all brothers and sisters. That's the end of the call for action, but I just want to personally share. We are all brothers and sisters under God. We are responsible one another for each other's lives. In the solidarity, I walk and I work with all of you. This is my cause too. I walk and work with the people imprisoned at Camp Liberty and all those in Iran and throughout the world who are working to bring about freedom and democratic change in Iran. And with great humility, I declare, as a Christian clergyman, that I am MEK. And I also declare I am Ashrafi. God bless all of you. Thank you.